Greetings and welcome back to Smartwatch Ticks for our third and hopefully final installment of looking at GPS on these smartwatches. We're going to take a look at the round Android 4.2 and 5.1 watches from both number 1 and Finau. And this is the quintessential comparison between the number 1 D5 and the Finau X1, even though it has a W812A, it's really the X1, and the D5 Plus and the X1 Plus, even though it just says it's X1, it's the X1 Plus, because these two run 5.1 Android, these two run 4.2. As we talked about before, the quality of the GPS may be dependent on the firmware and the build number and all that stuff. So we're going to go down here and show you, for your records, what versions we're running on all this and the custom build number, okay? 160915 here. This one is gobbledygook, so we're going to go back up to something that's got a date. Like the kernel version, Friday, September 23rd, 2016. This is 160429. These two are the same watch, sort of. Different companies, different build numbers, as you can see. And this one, again, we'll back up a little bit to the kernel version. And July 28th, Thursday, 2016. Okay, now let's load up the GPS and see what it's going to do on all of these. We're going to do them first here on this little paint tube where there's no interference, but we are indoors. So let's check it out. Let's see what kind of signals we're getting. And who acquires and who doesn't. Number 1, Finau. Across the bottom is where we're going to see the little display showing up that it's actually getting satellite connectivity. I love it. It's each time it's different the way the satellites show on the display, but they're the same across the board. Here we go on the original D5 and the D5 Plus. The Finau just starting over here, but again, they're red, they're not green. Boom, we got a lock on the original D5 and the new Finau X1 Plus. Those are locking in already. Now, I can't tell you if it's because they're on the outside and these guys are on the inside. They're all pointing up toward the sky. There could be all sorts of influencing factors. That one just flipped out. Okay, we still have a solid lock on the Finau X1 Plus. Maybe if I hold it on this end, something will change. That's popped in. So the two 5.1 Android watches are locking. The originals are not, although this one started to. And that one's falling out again. So is that one. Again, I'm sitting in a house with a single roof. It's no attic and then a roof and then things in the attic. It's just going through a piece of plywood, folks, to the sky. My 2 minutes are just about up on all of these, so I'm just going to touch them to wiggle them back again. Uh-oh, moved a thing. Okay. So, gee, now they're all out again. So I don't know. Putting them on my wrist here in the house is obviously not going to help things because it's barely making it as it is on a paint tube. The original is back in on the D5. The others are out. They seem to alternate, coming in, going out. Now the word is it can connect as quickly as a few seconds and as long as 15 minutes. But I'm not going to put you through 15 minutes of pain right here. You see that? It's just like it did a whole refresh and lost it all. So we're going to take these outdoors and show them to you on the tube and on my arm outdoors with nothing but the sky overhead to see how well they perform. I would give them all a thumbs down for just sitting here inside the house, and of course on a wrist would be even worse. That's the D5 X1, both the plus and the regular of both of them. But wait, there's more. Fino has more watches in their lineup, and these are those watches. This is the X3 two-button version of the X1, the X3 Plus, the X5 original 4.4 2 round larger screen watch, and the new Q3 same 4.4 2. So what have we got for build numbers on these guys? Let's pop them down there to see. Okay, 160310 running on the X3. This is that convoluted one. We got to go back up to a kernel version. Tuesday, August 16th, 2016. 1604.14, a little bit newer on the X5, and 1609.23, really new on the, of course, the Q3. All right, you got the firmware versions. Now let's look at the satellite coverage for GPS. All right, let's turn these puppies on. Here we go. Okay. Come on, turn on. GPS. All right. 5.1, of course, the X3 Plus is a different display than all the rest of them. But here we go again. X3, X3 Plus, X5, Q3. As we acquire or not the satellites overhead. It looks like a good distribution of satellites across the sky. But we're just not linking up today. At least not in the first few seconds. Again, we're just sitting on a paint tube. Clear view of the sky through the roof of a house. I'm not getting any bars on anything. Interesting. Makes me want to pull out my other ones and just see in the same environment. You know, the ones we just did the video on, the larger format Android 5.1 from IQI and who else was there? King Wear and all those. Why don't we do that? Because I'm not getting anything here. Maybe it's just a bad satellite day or something. Well, give it just a little bit longer, but we're not linking up at all on any of these watches. That's unfortunate. If they were, you'd see where these red things are popping in would go green. This one, there we go. We're finally getting a little red here. Oh, my 2 minutes is coming up on these. I'll go ahead and touch you guys to reset them. I'm just touching the screen to reactivate the 2-minute timeout. The screens aren't affected by that touch. What the heck? Let's look at the other ones and see what's going on here. If they link up and these don't, well, that says something. Same day, same time, I just activated and got these 4 watches ready from yesterday. Let's give it a try. GPS on and view. On and view. On and view. On and view. Oh my gosh, look at that. How in the world? All right. The S99 from ZGPAX popped in right away, solid, and I mean, it's like there. So is this one and this one. Of course, we all know about the IQI i2. We never have gotten anything to connect on that one yet. But look at that. These 3 are doing great. Okay, I am really curious now. These have been sitting here for a while. I got to activate them. Come in. Get their 2 minutes of fame going. Okay. Okay, everybody in the picture. Good. We're getting something on the X5. These have just been sitting there. We're getting some green ones on the X3 Plus. These are solid. That's doing good now. But these have been sitting there a while. That one popped back out again. Keep an eye on everything. These 3 are stable. That one just never comes up. By the way, I've talked to other people with the i2. I've had everything from, man, it comes up instantly, like this one. Ooh, that one. And other ones are saying, no, I've never gotten it either. So if you're lucky, you might have GPS on an i2. But these look a whole lot more reliable to me. Here we are back again. These have gone out. That's out. These come and go. Maybe there's something about, I don't know. Maybe it's on a loop reset thing or something. But right now, the X3 original has got a solid hit, while the rest of them don't. These guys are starting to time out because they're hitting their 2 minutes. And they're solid. They're great. Gosh, I was going to take these outside and show them to you on my arm. I'll do that, but I don't know what we're going to get. You saw yesterday how well these did. If your idea of a smartwatch is to do GPS and use maps and all that kind of stuff, I'm starting to think that we're better off by going with this version of the Android 5.1 implementation rather than the version that's currently available in the FiNow and D5 watches, just from the results that we're getting. Wow. Okay. I'll see you outside. How's it? Yeah, let's go take a check outside of these guys. Well, here we are outside. We're checking them out on the paint tube. Under the clear sky, we're getting connectivity on the number 1 D5 and D5 Plus. So far, looking stable. Over here are the FiNow watches. Boing. The FiNow X1 and X1 Plus. Challenge to shoot this and not get shadows in here. But we're doing all right. And we're going to try putting them on, see how they do on the wrist. Well, I have it on. I've had it on for a few moments, and the number 1 D5 original is still holding connectivity with the GPS satellites. They're still solid and green. I guess there is a huge difference between being outside and being inside. Let's see how the other watches do. And now we're looking at the D5 Plus. I've got some green signals down below. I hope you're seeing this. If not, I'll just guide you. The lighting's just really hard to do. But yes, all the dots in the satellite display are green, pretty much all, and I've got green bars down below. So we're getting good solid connectivity outdoors on the wrist with the D5 Plus. And likewise with the FiNow X1 original, we've got good solid connectivity. The bars are holding, not any change at all when I put the watch on. Things are settling down. I guess really, yeah, outdoors it works. And our check on the X1 Plus is looking good too. So there's no difference. They work outdoors, they don't work well indoors. Okay, this video is getting a little long. Rather than go through the other 4, let me just tell you that the FiNow Q3 and Q3 Plus behaved exactly like the Q1 Plus. Indoors, outdoors, no difference there. And the FiNow X5 and the Q3 equally performed well. So there's no need to go through watching each blade of grass grow, but just to tell you that I had good results from all 4 of the other FiNow watches. What we have not seen yet are the square ones. This is the number 1 D6, and this is the FiNow Q1. And I don't think you guys have ever seen them all together like this either. And I don't have them on the charging dock, so they are at the same flat level. And you can see the size parameters and what they might look like. But what we're here to do is to check the GPS. Let's turn them on and see what we get. GPS on. And we've seen that before, but we'll do it again just for comparison purposes. Here's the D6 and the Q1. And finally the Q3. And everybody's out there. Now I'm going to hold the ends and we'll see how long it takes to acquire. We see that we're getting red bars on the first two watches and nothing yet coming in on the others. We're starting to get some red bars on the Q1 and still waiting on the Q3. Boom, the Q1 has locked in. That happened before when I was just testing this out before video. We seem to get a quick lock. We're indoors now, mind you, and there's the D6 coming in. Both the rectangular Android 5.1 watches locking up faster than the Android 4.4 round, larger screen AMOLED display watches. Sounds like I'm learning this stuff, doesn't it? I tell you, when you repeat it often enough, yeah, you get it. Okay, indoors, we're still not getting a lock on the outer two. Could it be because I'm touching it? I don't think so. But that's good news. They're doing better than their counterparts in the square format. I'm going to take them off now and put them on my wrist, and let's see what we get. All right, here's the number one D6 going on the wrist. Is it holding? Indoors. We still have green bars, but they're disappearing, getting smaller, and they're gone. So we're definitely going to have to try this outdoors, but on the wrist, indoors, we're losing signal. Should pop back in, though, quickly. They are bouncing around, and there we go. We get a good lock. So how does that compare to the Final Q1? Well, let's see. Put it on. Wait for a moment. Let's see what it does. And they're starting to disappear. The green bars, and they're gone as well. So, same situation. Indoors, we lose signal. Pop it off. Give it a few moments, and bang, it comes back in quickly. So, we need to try these two outside and see what happens. Well, we're out in nature again. Let's start with the number one D6. As you can see, I've got really great reception with it outdoors and not on my arm. Now I'm going to put it on. Here we go. Still looking good, huh? Of course, you have to give it a few moments. But look at that. It's picking up every single satellite in the sky. Nice, strong signal. All right, we'll give that one a thumbs up. Now we'll take a look at the Final Q1. Very good off the wrist. Let's put it on. Here we go on this one. Nice, sharp, solid. These square watches actually seem to do better than the round ones, and it could be because of the placement of the antennas, I'm not sure. But nonetheless, we have solid GPS connection all across the board. Well, I thought I was about done with this video, but then looking at the comments as I was going through final editing, I noticed several of you were asking about the HourTime X01S and if we could test the GPS capabilities of this watch. Of course, since I'm all set up for it, let's go ahead and do it. That way, at least you will have an idea of how well this watch works, which is pretty much a rugged outdoor watch, complete with camera and side port, and the charging dock is on the edge, which is really nice. That's better than it being underneath. Of course, you have to slap on the whole cradle to get to it, but it looks like you might be able to use one of those charging wires on there just to do it. So we are waiting for the satellites to appear in the sky. Here they come. Showing up first as red, then it should snap into green as it locks up. Of course, if you're monitoring the time down here, you see how long it took to get there. And just like all the other watches, pretty much, we've got a good, solid connection. This is the indoors test. And of course, we have to put it on and see if it stays stable or not. None of them have yet, indoors with the watch on. It's fragile. It stays on the edge, but eventually it drops out completely. Yeah, it's doing better than most. I still have some green. There we go. Now we've lost signal. So we got to take it outdoors and do the final test outside. And as we expected, we've got good connectivity when we're sitting here, not on my arm, but outdoors. But the true story is, how does it look when I put it on? And there we go. Looking good. No degradation in performance. So the X01S is, like all the others, solid when it comes to GPS outdoors. Well, that wraps it for this extensive overview of just about every watch. I think it is every watch I have that can accept an Android app that lets us take a look at the GPS. You've now seen it. So get out there and buy one of these, folks. My goodness, we've been over backwards. You know all you need to know and more about GPS on these Android watches. And this one's even turning off. All right, thanks for watching. We will be back with more good stuff, no doubt.